There is an anecdote about Vladimir Horowitz. Once he received an LP with Prokofiev Toccata, played so beautifully that he absolutely loved it. And he played it to his friends, and he was pulling their leg because he was telling them that he played it himself. And when they started to praise him, he told them that it was a 19-year-old girl from Buenos Aires.
I didn't really know that. I think it's the first time I hear that. I know he was pulling the leg, playing something. I said, who it is.
Yeah.
That I knew, but I didn't know it was the Prokofiev Toccata. It's wonderful.
So this 19-year-old girl is now here with me and with her colleague Sophie Pacini.
Hello.
Welcome.
I learned it because I knew his recording. Yeah. That's how I learned it. So.
Yeah. And what actually happened? I heard that you really wanted to study with him.
I never got to do it. And I never got to see him in the States. I went when I was 19 or something. No, 20. Yes. And then I was in a strange mood, you know. I had been at Michelangelo's school.
Benedetto Michelangelo.
And then I went there, and I had an interview with a secretary of his that started to ask me all kinds of questions, very serious. Who was my favorite pianist, what I liked, I didn't even give me a cup of coffee, something like this. It was very strange. And I felt very, so I didn't call again. I didn't like it, you see, the whole thing. It was not very natural.
And did it bring you to the decision to stop playing for a while?
No, I had stopped already. When I went to study with Michelangelo, one had to stop.
Okay.
So I stopped. I didn't like pianist's life. I didn't like. And I was very young, and I thought I wanted to have a student's life, a normal, not traveling with a train there.
Sitting and practicing and then playing concerts.
Playing at concerts and in places I didn't know anybody and just go. It's sad. Yeah. I thought this was for a 40-year-old person. And I was only 18
I think you
17.
were pretty right about it, Yeah. But unlike they treated you at Horowitz's office, you treat pretty differently a young generation. You work with Sophie Pacini.
She's a friend,
yeah.
And I met her, and she played in front of me in Pietrasanta, where her father comes from, actually.
Yeah.
And like this, we met. She played Liszt Sonata. And so that's when I knew her.
Similar, Marta learned the Prokofiev Toccata because of the recording with Horowitz. I learned the B minor sonata because of the recording with Marta.
Oh,
and so when I actually, there are some similarities. And when I studied that piece, I was still very young. I was 14 when I started to practice B minor sonata, and it was a secret because my teacher shouldn't know. He was against it back then. He was thinking I have still too small hands. He was afraid I might hurt my muscles, and it was Karl-Heinz Kämmerling, very experienced teacher. And so
very strict.
Very strict. And so, but he knew that I anyway wouldn't do what he said. So he was, I think he knew that I wasn't doing like that and that I was practicing. I would guess
that's a pretty commonality for you both guys.
What?
That you don't do what other people think that you're supposed to.
Yeah, and we also don't do what we rehearsed usually, right? Exactly. And when then I had the chance to meet her, somehow for me it was my life dream coming true, because obviously this was something I was always dreaming about, to one day just play for her. It wasn't about career, because as well as her, I wasn't so fond of a career. I just loved to play the piano, and I wanted her opinion. That was all. I put all the risk in it because I played the B minor sonata for Marta Argerich. Whoa. If I think back now, it was very bold, and but I didn't feel this way back then. And when she was sitting in that couch and listening to my sonata, I felt lots of warmth and somehow some sort of love between me and her already in that moment when she heard me playing. She listened to this whole half an hour, and after she went to hug me, she really she was running basically to hug me.
Jesus,
and she gave me a kiss on my cheek and she said, "Sei bravissima, lo sai, you're great." And for me, I just started to cry, and I didn't want anything else but her approval. And everything that came after also just happened. I never asked for anything from Marta. And somehow people got to know, and so after the career started, and we didn't immediately play together. We just decided recently, and let's say for me, obviously, it's incredible still. It's unbelievable when we share a stage, and somehow between us are like 50 years, and I don't feel it
Let's
with
not count.
Marta. When she comes on stage, she's these 19 years. No, I'm honest, really, I'm honest.
Yes, I believe you.
And and that's so. It's basically the unpredictable. I think we breathe the same way. We kind of we also feel the same sadness sometimes
Are
in
you
the
both
moments.
that kind of riskers on stage?
And we are,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
want to control. There's still some control we want to have, right? And to give, and so that we can
One
give it
needs
away.
that, of course.
Sometimes,
In order to feel free, spontaneous, you have to have some control.
Exactly.
Basically.
It's the temper of Marta, and that she has these incredible, beautifully sensitive moments, but they come like from above. And when she plays the forte passages or just technical moments, it feels like nothing, and it feels like, you know, in the car, in a kind of a Lamborghini, I've never drove a Lamborghini, but this is how I imagine. If you put the sports mode and then you go zoom, and this is how it's with Marta, and I love it. For me, somehow, this is how I also feel to play the piano.
So you tell me about the unpredictability of interpretation, you know, the danger on stage that you love, similarly as Marta. Is it something that can sometimes backfire, or did it sometimes a bit surprise you or bring you something that you didn't expect?
Well, it's a little bit, you know, I never was riding horses, but this is how I imagine a very black, wild horse, this beautiful, really black beauty, and you have to ride that horse.
Yeah.
You have to know the horse and still, let's say, be open for the fact that he will also sometimes just take control of you. And you have to be able and loving enough to get in control again. So this is kind of, you know, and with Marta, sometimes it feels like that. And but I love it because I think since I grew up with her recordings and we have a similar character and also temper, I'm never surprised, really, and I can feel that when, for example, I can feel when she thinks, okay, this was nice, but I can do more. I'm sure that next time she will do more. So the next phrase will be even or faster, or with more wind or storm, or even with more, you know, rubato. Even more beautiful than beautiful can be.
From my point of view, you are the most important pianist of the second half of 20th century and of the first half of the 21st century. For me, you belong to those all-rounders. You went through really many of different styles, from Mozart to romantic music. Do you believe that nowadays people of younger generation, like pianist of Sophie, can do the same thing?
Of course they do that.
I would say that
true.
generally people on the top tend to specialize more. I mean, you don't have many people who just do a big deal of contemporary music and together with Mozart and together with Rachmaninoff.
But let's say from my point of view, it's also asked from our generation to present right from the start a very large repertoire. Not only with the competitions, but also when you start a solo career, somehow it's expected from you. And you have to also have a strong character to decide which repertoire you want to present and what is kind of your strong point. And to make a decision, which is super hard because everything is beautiful for the piano.
But that's exactly what I am referring to present your strong points. That's like, I would say.
I learned it through Marta.
It's not always possible. For a young pianist, it was never possible at certain times. Sometimes a young pianist would be engaged to play with an orchestra.
Yes.
A special piece.
That's true.
And they would ask the manager or the person, and this is, he can play anything. And this was, of course, not the case. And then he had to play, you know.
Actually, through Marta, I learned to also be, let's say, to have the strength to just decide not to play everything, but that it's possible also to focus on the strong points.
But this is amazing school where you receive something which would take you years to learn, actually, to invent yourself, because that's.
But I can tell you, the first concert we played together was in Munich, in my hometown, and I've played so many concerts there, and I have a fan base, and all these people were coming to the concert, and obviously also Marta's fan base. So I feel the eyes on me, and still in that very second, I feel like when I met Marta, and there is no fear, there's no being scared.
There is a lot of joy in our
Yes,
encounters. I have the feeling.
Yes.
And I hope that the public feels that too. You know.
Yes.
So thank you for your time and thank you for coming to us in Prague.
Thank you.